Call this Caddo Parish Commission meeting to order. May we have the roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Baker.
Here.
Mr. Cox.
Here.
Mr. Dominic.
Present.
Mr. Everson.
Here.
Mr. Escudero.
Here.
Mr. Jenkins.
Present.
Mr. Lynn.
Present.
Ms. Lynch. Mrs. McCulloch. Mr. Pearson. Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Thibodeau.
Here.
Have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. This time I'd like to ask Mr. Epperson to lead us in the invocation and Mr. Thibodeau in the pledge, please.
So bow, please. Father in heaven, thank you again for allowing us to be in the land of the living. We ask your special blessing upon the United States of America's economy, but the economy of the world as a whole. Realizing we that profess to be Christians, knowing that in the name of Jesus Christ, that our ultimate realization of the world is world peace. These and other blessings we ask in your Son's Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin, I'd like to make an announcement. I have a couple of cards here. Members of the public would like to speak. If anyone would like to speak on any matter other than zoning and you have not filled out a card, there's one in the back of the vestibule. Just fill one out and get it to us. Thank you. At this time, are there any agenda additions? Seeing none, we'll move forward. I'll have to entertain a motion to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting.
So moved.
Been moved by Mr. Dominic, seconded by Mr. Lynn. Is there any discussion on the motion? Being none, we'll vote as soon as we're able. All right, everybody voted? Okay. That passes. You didn't vote? You want to vote?
I would, yes.
Okay, Miss Baker voted yes. Put her down as a yes.
Mine said so.
Okay.
So you're not present, too?
I know.
All right. Right now, we'll take communication reports. Administration's report, please.
Yes, Commissioner Estes. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Just want to let you know that we put at your stations the pamphlet we developed for adjudicated property, and we'll also put it on our website. So if anyone desires any additional copies, please let me know. We have about 400 or 500 of these. We'll give them out to the various fairs that we go out to. The next item we have is a brief introduction. And Mr. Charles Grubb, would you like to, John?
Mr. President, out on the front row is a young man that I've known his whole life long named Evan Ritchie. Evan, stand up. Evan, as you can see, is a Boy Scout. He's here today as part of his efforts to get a merit badge on his road to Eagle Scout, which he's not too far from getting, and I just would like to introduce him to the Commission, and I'm sure he's welcome here.
Part of the requirement for Eagle Scout is a little bit of political torture. Welcome.
Shouldn't he have went through the city council?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll do that too. Mr. Wilson?
Yes, sir. That concludes my report, sir.
Thank you very much. At this time, we have Mr. Grant Sluter, who is bond counsel with Foley and Judell. Please come forward, Mr. Sluter, if you're in the building.
We moved him up. Let me go find him.
Well, okay.
Back in the back.
Well, let's find him.
He's on the phone getting the bid.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Grant Schroeder with Foley Udell Bond Counsel. I think you're going to be very, very happy with your bids today. Have any of the items been taken up? The resolution authorizing the opening of bids, that would be under resolutions item number 1. Go ahead and have action on that. I'll make a little report to you and we can get into the bid opening.
So moved. Well, what we're going to have to do, actually, you're talking about ordinance 4901?
Resolution 37, sir.
Resolution 37?
That is
Motion
correct.
moved by Mr. Thibodeau,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Dominic. Any discussion on the motion? If not, please vote. Everybody good? Thank you. All right.
Just a quick report. I know you all know all this already, but obviously you are rated, top-rated political subdivision in the state of Louisiana, your bond credit rating. It is a AA+. Prior to this time, you shared a AA with a very limited number of other political subdivisions, some school boards, some parishes, no municipalities. But now you have the #1 rating. It's 3 notches above the state of Louisiana itself. I can't say with certainty that that the state has never had a AA+, but I don't think they have. Back in the 70s, I recall they had a AA. But no one in the state has this now, any public body, not just parishes, so you're at the very top. What does that mean? It means that when you sell these bonds today, you're going to get a lower interest rate than you otherwise would have gotten. And on your future bond issues, at such time as you do have them, you're going to have lower interest rates also. Just to keep this in perspective, let's look at your last 2 bond sales. As soon as I find it, we'll get for you. In 2007, and this is, of course, the voters authorized $30 million in general obligation bonds. We issued the first series in 2007 at 4.64%, 4.64% with 2 bids. Last year, 2008, we sold for 4.52 with 3 bids. 3 bids. You're going to have a lot more bids this time, and you did adopt that resolution authorizing the opening.
Yes. Yes.
You have 7 bids that have been submitted. 7 bids from all over the country. The low bid is submitted by Morgan Keegan at 3.75%. 3.75%. This is the lowest interest rate we've seen in a long time. Probably, I asked my people in the office, and they think back maybe 2001. So this is an extremely low interest rate. Better than your prior sales and much lower than originally projected when we went to the voters. The second bid is submitted by Robert Beard and Company, and that's 3.84. The third bid is from Vining Sparks at 3.86. The fourth bid is from Samco Capital Markets at 3.90. The fifth bid is from Raymond James and Associates at 3.96. Sixth bid is from Stevens Inc. at 4.04. And finally, Jeffries and Company Inc. at 4.16. So your low bid is Morgan Keegan at 3.75%. And this is a direct result of your bond rating, your increase in your bond rating. I looked at all the sales that were taking place across the country today, and you had the highest bond rating of all those sales that were taking place on this particular day for political subdivisions across the country. Very noteworthy. You've seen the credit report. You've seen the references to the good financial operations. You've seen what they've said about your finance department, your administration, yourself. You've handled your money properly. The credit reporting agency, which is independent and national, cites your low debt burden to taxpayers and your good financial operations. So very, very good development. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If not, we can proceed to awarding the bonds to the low bidder.
I move that resolution number
We have some questions, please. Mr. Cox?
Not a question, more of a statement. Over the past term and a half that I've been here, you've worked very well with us, and to get down to where we are today at 3.75 and the bond rating that we have, I think not only the commission owes you a thanks, but the parish of Caddo does, and the people who reside here, because this gives us the ability to move forward. And on the same note, we should also recognize our past and present administration and past and present commissioners, because without this and without teamwork over the last 12 years, this couldn't have been done. So just from me to you guys and the administration, I want to say thank you for your work.
Thank you. We're happy to be involved with a success story like this. This is fantastic. Let me mention one other thing. We're so high, you're so high now at the AA plus, there's only one rating that you can go to above this.
That was my next question.
That's a AAA, and there is no minus or plus, so it's just a AAA. That's as high as you can go in the country with any rating agency, and that's the next level.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
We get one of them unlimited American Express cards if we do that.
Unlimited.
Don't eat all that.
Mr. Jenkins?
Thank you, Mr. President. I didn't catch the name of the highest bidder.
The highest bid, the best bidder? The best bidder was Morgan Keegan and Company. They bid out of New Orleans, and they're basically out of Memphis, but the New Orleans office bids that. It's Morgan Keegan and Company.
Or the highest bidder.
The highest bidder is Jeffries and Company, Inc., and that was the 4.16%. It's interesting, out of the 7 bidders, only 2 were in the 4% range. And just for comparison purposes, for other political subdivisions across the state, because we handle a lot of bond sales for a lot of public bodies, slightly lower rated bonds have been going for anywhere from about 4.30 to about 4.75%. So, you factor this in over a 20-year period, that's a lot of savings to taxpayers, and why pay more interest than you need to? So this is a good development.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, Mr. Jenkins. Before we vote, Grant, is 7 bids? 7 bids seems like a high number.
It's the highest we've seen in some time. That is correct.
This time, Mr. Dominic has a motion.
Move that we accept the lowest bid, a successful bidder, Morgan Keegan, 3.75, I believe it was.
Dominic moves that Resolution 38, accepting Morgan Keegan's bid of 3.75%, and seconded by Ms. Baker. Is there any discussion on the motion? Please vote. And that passes. That it?
Last item will be the ordinance, and that will
come up after the public hearing.
And that'll be fine. That's just the cleanup, and that incorporates all the terms of the winning bid that you just awarded.
Very good.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. You made some history here, and that's very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant.
Thank you, Glenn.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules to have visitors address the commission.
Got one thing under communication report.
Okay, Mr. Dominic.
Just had a quick question. I was talking to Mr. Raymond. We're having our park and recreation tour Tuesday at 9, and trying to get a head count of how many people will come. If you raise your hand, it's going to be here at 9 o'clock. On our park and recreation committee tour, where we're going to the south part of the parish, we're trying to get a head count. It's this Tuesday at 9 o'clock.
Great.
Sure.
Donuts, coffee.
Larry will have all that for you.
Larry? Donuts, coffee?
Sure.
All right, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now.
All right. Motion to suspend the rules. So moved. Moved by Mr. Epperson, seconded by Ms. Baker, without exception. Have 2 cards here. First with Mr. Tom Arsenault.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, my name is Tom Arsenault. My address is 400 Texas Street, Suite 1400, Shreveport 71101, and I am General Counsel for the Board of Water District Number 1. You have an item on the agenda that the Board has asked me to address. It is the appointment of Mr. Sarter to a term on the Board. The Board's concern is the history of the last year or so with Mr. Sarter has proven him to be very disruptive at board meetings when he attends. He had submitted a letter of resignation in June, but apparently did not come to the attention of the board. He missed most of the meetings in 2009 so far, and at the last meeting, he actually threatened the board president at the meeting. They believe that this is not a good appointment, is not an appropriate appointment for the conducting of business of the Water District. They respectfully request that you not confirm that appointment, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
All right. There can be no questions at this time, but...
Thank you very much.
Duly noted. Thank you, Mr. Arsenault. Next, we have Mr. David Wilkinson.
I'm David Wilkinson with Coffin Graff Smoke Engineering, 6305 Westport Avenue, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71135. I'm here on behalf of Caddo Water District Number 7 to explain the need they have for the upcoming block grant application. The application the water system has is to provide additional water supply to the water system. Recently, the water system has had some shortages. In July, the water wells could not maintain enough water to meet the demand with the water system for 3 weeks while the weather was over 100 degrees. The wells were running over 22 hours a day. The water system could not maintain service to all the homes. A boil order was in effect. Since the weather's been a little cooler, the boil order's been lifted. The water system has taken steps to address that immediate crisis by contracting a water well driller to drill 2 additional water wells. That is going to meet our immediate needs, but we'd like to apply for a block grant for additional supply to prevent this problem from happening in the future. The way they're operating now, they've had other problems where any small upset in the system has led to boil orders. Last February, they were under a boil order. They couldn't keep up with the demand there because of the system upset. A declaration of emergency was put on the system. The Louisiana National Guard came out and was water hauling to keep as many citizens as we could in demand. This project, it would be a very good project for the parish. In the 2002-2003 block grant cycle, the Water District had a project that was that rated well and was awarded by the block grant office, and it has the same project area. Anyone have any questions?
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak before the Caddo Parish Commission? Hold on a second. We do not. If there's anyone here from Lakeview Water District or Water District 7 has made application for the LCDBG grants and have not filled a card and wishes to speak, please come forward now. State your name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon. Ben Rauschenbach, Baylor Associates, 631 Milam Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71101. I'm here actually representing District 1 and the Lakeview Water District. I believe y'all have the packets of information there in front of you regarding their needs. Specifically, let's look at Lakeview Water District. This is a project that has been applied for previously and ranked very well. They came in, probably would have been the next one on the list to be funded. There's some significant need. There's about 55 residents that they're interested in serving that are currently being served off of individual water well systems. As you've seen, some of these larger distribution systems are having problems with getting domestic water from water wells, and what the Lakeview Water District would like to do would be to serve these customers. Obviously a need there. Project severity would be one. The fact that there's just a lack of dependable community water, and that's a considerable risk to health for that community, and rates very high when these applications are submitted. Cost effectiveness is another thing that they look at when they're rating block grant projects down in Baton Rouge. Total grant dollars are divided by the total persons benefiting, and we feel that this project has an above average project effectiveness. And then obviously the low to moderate benefit. The proposed target area is an impoverished area immediately adjacent to the corporate limits of the city of Shreveport. And the average household income appears to be sufficiently low such that the applicant will receive some additional incentive when they're reviewing these projects down at the state for funding. We feel like it's a great project, and we would really, on behalf of the Lakeview Water District, we would like to see consideration for this project. The other is Caddo Parish Waterworks District Number 1. They've been operating in extremely poor condition over the past several years. They've got a package, what we call a package-style water treatment facility there, and they've just been kind of limping along. What we're interested in doing for them is providing a bulk source water from the town of Blanchard via a transmission line out to Oil City. Oil City's Caddo Parish Waterworks District Number 1 would maintain that system, but instead of having a treatment facility and storage tanks and all those items that are deteriorating, they would be purchasing water and distributing that purchased water without having to treat it. Again, you have a significant number of customers that are on that system, 750 water customers. Predominantly, those customers live in Oil City, okay? Just to give you a quick breakdown, Oil City, again, low to moderate benefits, they're about 68% low to moderate, so they get some extra incentive when it comes to reviewing these block grant applicants. That should pose favorably for them. Project severity, again, the lack of a dependable community water supply has been considered a serious health risk by the block grant administration. And then cost effectiveness, obviously 750 customers over the price of the total project yields a pretty cost-effective project for that community as well. So we feel like these are both very good projects for the parish, and would appreciate any consideration y'all would have in selecting them. Any questions?
All right. Thank you very much. Now I'll take a motion to go back into regular session.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Moved by Commissioner Cox, seconded by Mr. Smith, without exception. Okay, one more thing. We have a communique with Commissioner Smith to report on the Natural Resources meeting.
As some of you know, we had a meeting last Monday on the natural resource, looking at the proposed amendments to the national gas ordinances, and we have worked on those, and they are now being prepared. We will meet again this next Monday on the 17th after the regular work session meeting to relook at those and move forward to bring that information.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith. All right, this time we'll have our public hearing on ordinances, the first one being Ordinance 4901. Mr. Spears?
Yes, sir, that's the one that provides for the issuance of $10 million of general obligation bonds for the parish.
All right, is there anyone here to speak in favor of this ordinance? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Next ordinance, please.
Ordinance 4902 amends your general fund budget to provide funds for consultants to help acquire stimulus funds through the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act.
Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of this ordinance? Anyone here who would like to speak in opposition? All right, that concludes our public hearing on ordinances. Now we have the ordinances up for final passage.
Yes, sir, the same ordinances. Ordinance 4901 authorizes the issuance of $10 billion general obligation bond.
It's been moved by Mr. Thibodeau and seconded by Mr. Jenkins for ordinance 4901. Is there any discussion? If not, please vote. That passes. Next ordinance, please.
Ordinance 4902, amend your general fund budget to acquire, pay for a consultant.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Mr. Epperson and seconded by Mr. Jenkins for the passage of ordinance 4902. Is there any discussion on this ordinance? Mr. Thibodeau.
In the ordinance that we have, it still has 50,000 in the introduction part of the ordinance, and it still has 50,000 in the body of the ordinance. So the 50,000 needs to be changed to 25 everywhere. In the copy of the ordinance that we have, 4902. Just need to, wherever it says 50, needs to be changed to 25.
All right, that's the second time this happened, isn't it? Okay, as long as we understand that the ordinance shall read as it is presented on our agenda for $25,000 for the year 2009. We will vote on it as presented. Any more discussion? Vote. Very good, thank you. Now we have zoning ordinances for introduction, please.
Yes, sir. Zoning case P29, ordinance 4903, Northwood Hills Country Club's applicant, left the case 2 years ago, multi-family residence district.
All right.
And then zoning case P31, ordinance 4904, also carry over from 07. Belcherry Land Company's applicant requesting rezone property in west side of Street Park for I-1 and I-2 development.
Very good, thank you. Now we have ordinances for introduction.
Ordinance 4905 declares 42 solid waste containers to be surplus property and authorize their sale. Ordinance 4906 declares certain adjudicated properties to be surplus and authorize their sale.
Very good. The public hearing forthcoming on these ordinances and public consumption. Is there work session minutes available?
Yes, sir.
And I'll entertain a motion to ratify those minutes.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Cox, seconded by Ms. Baker. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, please vote. All right, next we have resolutions. 37 and 38 are complete. Resolution 39.
Yes, sir. Supports preparation of U.S. HUD Public Housing Authority 5-year plan.
I have a motion on that. Moved by Mr. Epperson, seconded by Mr. Smith. Is there any discussion on Resolution 39? If not, please vote. All right, that passes. Next item, please.
Resolution 40 supports NABCO in urging Congress to support public hospitals and other providers in the healthcare safety net and the administration's healthcare reform principles.
Mr. Epperson?
Move to table resolution number 40 of 2009.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Moved by Commissioner Epperson, seconded by Commissioner Thibodeau. Lay on the table, Resolution 40 of 2009. Is there any discussion on that motion? If not, let us vote, please. Thank you. All right, new business. It's time to select 2 agencies for the Community Development Block Grants. Mr. Epperson.
I'd like to make the selection of Lakeview Water Works District and Caddo Parish Water Works District number 7 for Community Block Grant Program.
Okay, let's take, since there's 3, I think we should take them one at a time, since we approved 2.
I move for the selection of Lakeview Water Works District.
Okay, it's been moved and by Mr. Epperson and seconded by Ms. Baker, the selection of Lakeview Water Works District. Is there any discussion on the motion? I've got you. You made the motion? No?
No.
You got to give them opportunity first. Okay, Mr. Cox?
No, I'm going to move that we take Water District number 7.
Okay, well, let's get them all out there. I've got a motion for Water District number 7.
I move for Water District number 1.
Hang on, I need a second. Do I have a second, Mr. Cox? It's been moved by Mr. Cox and seconded by Ms. Baker. Consider Water District number 1.
No, 7.
7, I'm sorry. Okay. Backed up here. So now we have Lakeview. 7. All right, is there any discussion on that motion?
I move for,
All right, Mr. Dominic.
move for Water District number 1.
Dominic, and I'll second that. If no one else moves for district number 1.
We select 2 of them.
Select 2.
Okay, now we're going to select 2. They've all been thrown out there. Is there any discussion on Mr. Dominic's motion?
Yeah, I'd like to hear from Mr. Reisner. He's with Coordinating Development Corporation, at least give us some information on these 3. This is my understanding. What normally happens is he does give some type of presentation on how these all came out.
Okay. Please come forward, state your name for the record.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the commission. My name is Harry Reiser. I'm with Coordinating Development Corporation, 5210 Hollywood, and that's 71109 Shreveport. We have 3 projects that were submitted for consideration. I can speak intelligently about 2 of them. The number 7 I am not familiar with. I think I need to stress a couple things. MLK area, the Lakeview Water District was submitted last year for consideration. Pardon me? It was submitted here to the commission for consideration. Excuse me. It was submitted for consideration. It was not chosen. The Water District number 1, Oil City area, was one of the 2 that were chosen. The 2 that were chosen last cycle were the Pine Hill Water, which has been completed, and the Waterworks District number 1, Oil City. It was very, very high in the rankings. It would have been funded had the money not ran out. Both of these projects, your Lakeview Water District project and the Water District number 1, are viable projects. We went through all this last year. Things have not changed except to get worse in both of these areas. The Water District number 7, I feel sure that it's a viable project also. This is something that you all need to look at. I cannot speak intelligently about District number 7 because I'm not familiar with how it will rank as far as either survey or with the census area with the log rec, if in fact it takes in a log rec. The criteria for grading these goes on your low to mod benefit. Oil City ranks very high in that respect. The cost ratio benefit, that's cost per person, they rank well. We came out, like I say, right at the funding line. The MLK area, I know it will rank well for low mod. I feel sure that with the cost of the project and what's involved with the project, the cost-benefit ratio will be good also. The District number 7, there again, we're looking at 3 water wells. It is a definite need. I feel that the project will rank. I mean, I don't know where, though. I have nothing historic to go on. I don't know how it ranks low mod. I don't know how many people are involved in the area. I'm sure that the cost ratio will probably be acceptable. That is pretty much what input that I can give you. I'll entertain specific questions about them if you have any.
Anyone have any specific questions for this gentleman? Mr. Thibodeau?
Yeah, how many people will be affected in Lakeview? How many people?
I'm sorry, sir. Did you answer his question?
There's a lady back here.
We have
700
families. I don't know the exact.
All right, and what about Water District 1?
Water District 1, I don't remember how many people were there. There's
750. 750. I think that's what the young man said when he was speaking.
Yeah, that we're up around. Oh, okay. Families, yes, probably 750 because we.
And what about number 7?
Number 7 is
2,500 residents.
residents. That's people, okay, 2,500. See, like I say, I haven't had a conversation with Mr. Wilkerson about it, so I don't know about the...
Okay, that's all I have.
Any other questions? Thank you. Ms. Mills, do you have anything that you could add that would help us?
No, that pretty much sums it up.
Very good. Thank you. If there's no more discussion, as is our custom, we'll go ahead and take these one by one. And as the old proverb goes, the first should be last and last should be first. So, District, Waterworks District 1.
Got to vote on 2.
Will be vote on 2. Thank you, Mr. Lucky. We'll have to take each of them, vote for 2, do not vote for 1. Waterworks District will be the first one, since it was the last one the motion was made on. All those in favor of Waterworks District number 1.
Leave that up.
Yes.
Press the wrong button.
You press the wrong button?
Yeah, press the wrong button.
Are you the state legislature?
Yep. We're voting on 1?
1.
Okay, got it.
Everybody voted? All right. 1 passes.
Just
Next.
a moment, sir.
It's okay, I got it.
Got it. Next, we will be voting on Waterworks District number 7. Everybody voted? That passes. Okay, there's 2, so that's done. All right, next item of business is the confirmation or the reappointment of Mr. John Sarter, Board Member, Water District 1.
So moved.
Been moved by Mr. Dominic.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Cox. Any discussion on the motion? Mr. Dominic.
Yes, I'd like to just discuss this briefly due to the fact that it was brought out. It's my understanding, and you can always get 2 sides of the stories, but I've spoken to Mr. Sorter, and it's my understanding that he had sent a letter of resignation to the board, not the Caddo Parish Commission Board, but to the Water District Board in June, I believe, of 1998, or 2008, indicating that telling me that really the reason he was wishing to resign was due to the financial requirements for ethics, and didn't want to have to comply with that, and also for some health reasons. But after thinking about it, he said he formally didn't resign. It wasn't presented to the board. It was just presented to the secretary. That he did miss some meetings in 2008 and 2009 due to some sickness, but he has come back and said at the last meeting he showed up, and the chairman told him he had to leave. He wasn't on the board because he had resigned. The resignation was over a year ago. I spoke to Donna Frazier, and she said his resignation was not effective until this board received it. And we had not received it at that time, so he should have been allowed to stay on the board that night. I don't want to get in their day-to-day activities, and there's apparently some problems up there. But I am recommending that Mr. Sorter be reappointed. He is I won't say geologist, but I think he has a lot of information and knowledge concerning the water district, and hopefully they can work out the problems. But I think he's doing a good job and continue to do a good job. We also got a letter from the Water District Board requesting some people that they wanted appointed, and I got information back from the Water Board. They did not vote on that, so I don't know who is requesting the board appointment. Apparently wasn't voted by the board. So I'm asking that everyone follow my lead and reappoint Mr. John Sorter to Water District Board number 1.
Thank you, Commissioner Dominic. Mr. Jenkins?
Thank you, Mr. President. Was Mr. Sorter aware of the fact that someone had taken some opposition to his appointment, and if so, why isn't he here today?
He wasn't aware of that, no.
He wasn't aware?
No.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Anyone else? I have a concern. or ask you a question. Mr. Arsenault, would you come back forward, please? You were asked to come here today to represent the board by the board president, or how many of its members?
So I appreciate the majority of the board, John.
Majority of the board member asked you to come here. That's all I need to know. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Hang on a second. On the floor. You want to ask him a question while he's here?
Go ahead. Yeah, I do want to ask him.
Okay.
You said the majority of the board, they voted on that then?
I don't know. I was informed by the president that the majority of the board had asked me to come today.
Okay.
And a substantial number of the board members are here
The
today.
letter that we got indicated that the board had voted to ask somebody else to be appointed, and the minutes don't reflect that, and I don't think they
Mr.
voted.
Diamond, I am informed that there was an informal poll taken at the meeting. I was not present at the meeting.
Okay, I understand.
I don't know, but I am informed by a board member that there was an informal poll, but apparently not a formal vote.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Arsenault.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Dominic, I usually trust your judgment, accept your judgment, and trust you very much. I would ask you that, since this is not emergency and imminent, that maybe you postpone this so we can figure out what's going on out there. And if this man may be very knowledgeable, but if people have trouble working with him, then there's obviously a problem there, and it's going to be a continuing problem for you. And if they felt strong enough to send their counsel here, then I'd like to just let you investigate it and
Okay, I'll
and also know this, that it's best that if this position needs to be replaced, it's best if we kind of come up with our people, rather than, you don't want the board picking their own members either.
Right. Okay, I'll do this. I'll move at this table, and it's my understanding from our other parish attorney that he still continues to serve until he's replaced. So he will be on the board until replacement is made. It's my understanding.
That's fine, but at least you'll have time to investigate.
I will table this until
Just withdraw. You withdraw your motion? Second withdrawal?
Yes.
All right, it's gone. Next item, we have the confirmation of appointment of Miss Marvia Moore, Washington, to the Board of Caddo District Sewerage 5.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Been moved by Mr. Epperson for that, and it's been seconded by Ms. Baker. Would you like to speak, Mr. Epperson?
Just in absence of Ms. McCullough, she's asking that the commission would confirm this appointment today.
Is there any discussion on this motion? If not, please vote. All right, that passes. Lastly, we have the confirmation of Ms. Janice D. Nisi-Bass to Waterworks District Number 1. Motion for that, please.
Move that we confirm the appointment of Ms. Janice.
It's been moved by Mr. Dominic, second by Mr. Thibodeau. Is there any discussion on this motion? If not, please vote. Anything else from anyone? Mr. You'd already buttoned in. Mr. Cox and then Mr. Thibodeau.
I wanted to do this during the communiques, but we had such good news on our bond, I forgot. I had a question for the planning that Caddo had reached out and talked to some people, and I'd like to ask, go on record to ask the administration, where are we sitting at as far as Caddo, not this Shreveport Caddo part, but Caddo, that we had talked about briefly, probably about a month and a half ago. Can you tell me anything about it, where we're standing?
Yes, sir. Commissioners, on the 2nd of June, which was your first work session in June, Commissioner Dominic requested that we get the cost estimate on what it will cost to do a master plan in the other areas of the parish. And I gave you all that, put in your copies in your box. And I think that's where it's at right now. We're just waiting in the action on the part of the commission to make a decision whether or not we're going to go forward or act on what was given to us.
And we went with the same consulting firm as Shreveport?
Yes, sir. They provided an estimate for various options on what it will take to implement a plan, a master plan, in unincorporated areas of the parish. And you all have that information. So I guess we just have to decide to what degree you want to be involved in planning and go forward from there. Can I answer your questions?
Well, and it does and it doesn't. What I'd like to do is try to figure out a date at our next work session to invite that group back in front of us to give us a formal presentation with the okay of the board.
It's up to you.
I'm gonna ask, since you've been so nice today, I was gonna ask you first.
Fine with me, just don't bore me.
Okay. I'll tell him 15 minutes, how's that?
Mr. Cox.
Yes, sir. Work session.
Okay, Mr. Thibodeau?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Ms. Frazier a question. Yeah, still here. The commission passed the property standards ordinance, which puts it into force, or my understanding when we passed it, that we were trying to get it enforced by the 1st of August. And I know that you had a meeting with the constables and JPs the other day. I guess my question is there any legal reason that we cannot cite or give someone a warning based on that new ordinance at this time?
Commissioner Thibodeau, I don't know, our legal reason, I would guess not, but as a practical reason, we had maybe 3 constables and 3 justices of the peace show up to the actual meeting. So as of right now, the documentation is not in place for them to start their enforcement. What we're doing is following up with those persons who were not present and sending out letters so that they can sign the necessary documentation. So right now, you don't have anybody to go out and write citations. And I was given that we were looking at September 1st because it was my understanding that there was going to need to be some publicity and an opportunity to give the citizens notice and to allow them to try to clean up before the enforcement started. So I apologize if I have the wrong date.
Well, I know there's no date in the ordinance itself, and that's why I thought it was the 1st of August, since we already passed it.
Right, it is passed, but it was my understanding we were getting it passed, and then there was going to be publicity and opportunity for them to clean up. But as far as what percentages of those fines would go to each one of the constables and justices of the peace, that's in the state statute for the litter ordinance, but not for the property standards. So that has to be done by cooperative endeavor agreement. And as of right now, those have not been completed.
Was there a specific form that will be used or that is now available to be used as a warning or as a citation?
Not at this time. That we're in the process of having those ticket books printed.
Because I've got one I want to use as a test case, and they've been getting warnings from everybody and their brother for the last 2 or 3 years. So another warning from us probably won't make them a whole lot of difference. But other than to get the 14 days clicking, get the time, get the clock running. My constable's willing to go do it.
Well, does Mr. DeMache, right now they've been giving, we've had a lot of citizens call in. Mr. DeMache is compiling a list that he will distribute to the constables. Who is your constable? I can tell you if he was here or not.
He wasn't here yesterday. He was, the other day. He was at another meeting.
Right. So he's going to need to get that paperwork and get that signed.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Frazier.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we leave, I would just personally like to thank all of my colleagues who serve with me. The significance of our bond rating is something truly to be proud of. It's California, as the governor would say, wishes they had our bond rating. There's lots of governmental aid entities that are hurting. It's a testament to, even though we have different philosophies and have different backgrounds, we all share one commonality, and that's fiscal conservativeness and financial prudency. And I appreciate that from each and every one of you. As a body, we seem to share that philosophy. Our philosophy is passed on to the administrator, who instills that in all of the parish employees, and it's truly a team effort. So as far as we come up with the plan, Woody's the coach, he gets it going, wins the game for us, and the employees are on the front line to get it done. We have outstanding employees and staff, and it's a big accomplishment. I just want to thank them for their efforts, and now let's maintain it. So, we're adjourned.
Meet Mike.